Okay, we're now on the third lesson of ICT, where we're looking at Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel. Now today is very much focused on data collection and data representation. So have a discussion with the students about what does it mean to collect data. It's data we take from the outside world and we try to put it on our spreadsheet. And then when we put it on our spreadsheet, we need to represent it in a way that's useful for other people to see. So we're going to really be getting students to focus on representing data. That's through pie charts, that's through bar graphs, and even we're going to look at some trends and try to see how a graph can actually help us make decisions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tally the data. How many people liked each cake? So we can see that 5, 10, 12 people liked the blueberry cake. We can see that 5, 10, 14 people, and the students can do this, like the strawberry cake. And we can see that 5, 10, 15, 16 people liked our pumpkin pie. Okay, let's go straight into task 2. I'm going to do it this way now, where I'm going to open Google Sheets. Remember, you can download and save it via Microsoft Excel. I'm currently logged in. Make sure the students are logged into the correct account. Otherwise, make sure they switch an account or they log in if they're not logged in. And we are going to create a copy. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to make a copy because we're not going to be able to edit that one. And I'm going to call that Matthew Lesson 3. So I've created a copy. There we go, Matthew's Lesson 3. That's perfect. And remember, I can save this in my drive. Okay, remember, I can move that around to somewhere that's useful to me. Okay, here we are. Yum Yum Coffee Shop. The manager of Yum Yum Coffee Shops wants her shop to be the most popular coffee shop in the city. So what she does, she, as a good businessman would, she decides she's going to take a survey of which are her best-selling cakes. Which cakes do her customers, the most important people to her, which cakes do they like the best? She realizes that she's left out lemon meringue, task 1. And there were 12 people who liked it, so she's going to add lemon meringue at the bottom there in task 1. And we're going to have 12 people there. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's calculate now the sum formula. So the total is 124. We're going to make that bold by selecting the bold over there, or Control B or Command B, depending what computer they are using. Remember, we can cancel the ones we've already done. So now we've selected B7 to 15 and C7 to 15, and we're going to make a chart. Now remember, we want to include the title of our pie chart, but we don't want to include the total. So we're going to go Insert, Chart, and the chart we're going to insert, hopefully Google will, perfect. Google has thought it needs to be a pie chart. Now remember, if you're using Microsoft, you can go slightly differently. You just go Insert, and you can insert a pie chart directly. Okay. So we have our pie chart. We want to customize our pie chart to have percent votes. So we're going to click on our pie chart. We're going to go customize. This is the pie chart we're looking at. And currently we would like to show the percentage. So we can see the percentage of either, and we can actually show the value and the percentage. So we can see that lemon meringue has the 12 and it makes up 11%. It's a good idea to have a discussion with the students about what is the total amount of percent here. A pie chart where it has to always total 100%, a very important part to get across. Let's customize the legend at the top and the bottom. So that is at the top, the bottom, the left, or the right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to the legend. What's a legend? It's where it's like a key, another word for it, and we're going to put our legend to the right, make it look a bit nicer. We're also going to customize our chart total. We're going to say cake votes. Cake votes, better than just votes. There we go. That's cake votes. That's looking quite nice. Right, let's change the pie slices to be different colors. So maybe our strawberry cake is red. I think that's pretty cool. Blueberry cake is blue. Pumpkin is pretty chocolate. Green, maybe we can make chocolate look a little bit more chocolatey. Maybe a maroony type color. A red velvet, orange. So what percent of people like the red velvet cake? So we're going to go red velvet is this orangey color. Red velvet is 14 people. Maybe we decide that this legend is actually not very useful to us. Maybe we need to put it labeled. Be a bit easier to read, right? Can have a discussion with the students around what is easier to represent, what's easier to read, what's the easier way to represent data, the core of this lesson. So red velvet cake, 13.2% of people like the red velvet cake. So 13.2, right? We're going to now add to each cake so that the total number of people who took the survey is 200, right? So I'm just going to do this here. We're going to have, 44 people there. We're going to have 33 people there. We're going to have 44 people there again. Again, the students will spend a little bit more time. Luckily, that's 200. Cool. So we've got 200 people now. Now what percent of people like the red velvet cake? Now it's 24% because I added quite a bit there. So it's 24.2%. We must add our percentage sign. The same over there. I'm just going to copy that and put that there. Oh, no, 13.2%. Okay. What percent of people didn't like the red velvet cake? Well, your students should be able to see that this is 100% minus that. So it technically is going to equal 100 minus that. That's not working here because we have to go 1 minus. So it technically should be 1 minus because, or we could go 100% minus that. However, you can also have your students calculate that is going to be their 75.8%. Oh, and we need to add our percentage on. But this is just important to understand that a pie chart is made up of 100%. Let's move across to tab 2. Okay, now we're at Yum Yum Coffee Shop. And now we want to talk about how we are discussing that these surveys are helping her make these decisions about what she should be making. And now we're looking at how to get the information of what her favorite sandwich is. You could even do something in your class where the class could fill in this information and you all had the same information here. But for simplicity's sake, we'll leave this here. So calculate the sum formula. I'm going to do that over there, sum, and we're going to open and we're going to see how many people took the survey. Okay, 60 people. That is terrific. Now we're going to select from B9 to C16 and we're going to select that and we're going to insert a bar graph chart type. Now this could be a column called a column chart in Excel, in Sheets, but it might be called a bar graph on Google Sheets. So we're going to just say that this is using column 9 as headers. No, we don't want it. There we go. Okay, so you might need to swiggle that on Google Sheets so the cheese and tomato is making an appearance. Right, so we have our bar graph. What does our graph show? Well, our graph shows how many people voted for the different sandwiches, which is kind of useful. Cool, so we can immediately see that cheese is the most popular sandwich. Okay, let's change the color. I'm going to make this bar graph a darker green. Cool. Can we click customize our chart title? So we can say there, and this is now, we're going to call this sandwich votes. So it's different to our cake votes, and we don't get confused. Now we're going to have 7 more people that like cheese, right? Cheese and tomato, and 3 more like avo. So when we add these to our table, let's have a look how our bar graph changes. So cheese and tomato, we had 7 more, so now that goes to 14. Oh, that updated. And we're going to have our avo, 3 more on avo, so that's going to 13. There, that changed as well. Does our bar graph change? Yes, it did change, right? Our bar graph did change. So now what is the most popular sandwich and what is the least popular? Well, we can see that cheese and tomato and cheese and avo are all the most popular sandwiches. So this is either cheese or cheese and tomato. And what is our least popular? The least popular one we have is our egg sandwich. So now this helps us make a better decision about what it is that we want to make in the future. Well, we're going to make fewer egg sandwiches and we're going to focus on our cheese and tomato. Let's move on to tab 3. And this is really looking at trends. Okay, we now want to see how many coffee frizzos are sold every month. Right, so we have the table from January to December. We can see the number of frizzos that have been sold every month. So let's select B7 to B19, that's over here, and then C7 to C19 over there. And now we're going to insert another graph. Now this time we're inserting a line graph. Again, it thinks we want a pie chart, but we don't. We're going to insert a line graph. We can have a blocky line graph or a line chart, or we can have a smooth line chart. We're going to have a smooth line chart there. We can see a bit of a trend happening, which is very interesting. So in which month were the most coffee frizzos sold and the least? So one thing we can do here, we can actually make our chart a little bit more customizable. We can add a couple of things. So again, we want to change number of frizzos sold. Frizzos sold. We're going to add some grid lines. So let's have a grid line every 5. Okay, cool. We've got a good looking graph here. In which months were the most coffee frizzos sold and the least? The most, it is tied between February and December. So December is 60, February 62, so the most was 62. We could have read off either of these data points. One thing we can do is we can add a legend where we can show the data labels of each of those points. If we click on the series is the graph, we can show the data labels. So I'm going to do that there. Which was the least sold? We can see that it was in July, it was 3. Oh, sorry, in which month? So the month that was the most was Feb, and the month that was the least was July. Right? So why do we think this is? And then the question is, which hemisphere do you think the city is in? Now, if you're selling coffee frizzos, it's because you might want to drink it when it's mostly hot. So is it hot in the northern hemisphere in November, December, February, March, or is it cold? Well, it's actually hot in the southern hemisphere, November, December, February, March. So we might think that this is sold in the this is a city in the southern hemisphere. Or maybe it's just very popular over Christmas time. You can decide what it is that you want to do. Or maybe it's just very popular during the holiday season. Okay, we've changed the chart title already. In column D, we want to find the difference in frizzos for each month. So we start in C9 and we say C9 minus C8. Okay, so we're going to C9 and we're going to go C9 minus C8. Oh, minus C8. The difference in frizzos. Okay, now this is interesting because now here we can highlight the month that has the biggest difference in sales, right? So the month that has the biggest difference in sales is this, from December. From November to December is the highest growth. So from November to December, the number of coffees that we're adding, we're going to highlight it the color orange, is the biggest. So we must make sure that next year, November, we're going to buy a lot more frizzos that we can be ready for December. We can see there's also a big jump in September and a big drop in June, big drop in March,